Okay, hello. Oh, look at my hair. Good morning. Let's see. I'm just going to check to see if the stream is actually running because I'm now using. I'm now changed again to a different. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, it seems to be some audio in the background here. Yeah. Anyways, it seems to be working. Cool. So what we're going to do, the reason I changed software again is because last time I thought it freezed with the new camera, but it was a hardware issue with the camera. So now I'm back to trying this other thing because I want to do multiple types of streams, and it's just horrible to deal with that with OBS. So now I'm trying this other thing, which also should make it smoother to like share the experience with other people, so they can kind of like join and stuff like that, without like killing my Mac. Anyways, so we were exploring some stuff. We made some comments here about changing the API a little bit, and so I done that. I created this implementation that we're going to try, and it's not exactly like we built it here, but yeah, maybe I can explain that first. So this is what we were thinking about. We were thinking about doing a transition, and then because now when you define, let's have an example here. So we say when we go to authenticated, there has to be a user there has to be a profile there, and there needs to be a profiles map, like a dictionary. It might be empty, but at least it should be there. That's what we're saying. But when we transition into authenticated, there's nothing there. Like, we explicitly set it here, but there's nothing helping us to do that. So we might get into authenticated state, but then we forget or something to insert something here, or maybe, we might forget it. So that is why we wanted to have this second argument, which is typed. So when you move to authenticated, it ensures that you have this state. Now the problem is we also have not here, but we have here. We have this base state as well. So you have like some state that's there for all the transition states. And then you might have specific state for certain transition states. And the problem is you don't want to set that every time you transition. So we have to split this concept of a base state and actual state. So I've done that now. So you pass in the different transition states just like this, and then you can pass in a base state, which will then be a third argument here. I'll show it later. Yes. And that just ensures that, first of all, you can transition into a new state, which is it's just an object. I'm not sure why I wanted to have a function there, but it's just an object. And what happens under the hood, actually, is that when you transition to a new state now, it actually removes all the state of the previous transition state, but it doesn't remove the base state. That's the thing. So it keeps the base state, it removes the current transition state, and then you add the new state for the new transition. And this is really nice. For example, if you move from error, where you have an error state, and then you move to, for example, unauthenticated, you don't want that error anymore. So it just handles that for you. So basically your transitions operates just like you define it in the typing, which is really cool. And then, of course, we do have this callback where you can do mutations and transition into new things. But let's see. Yeah, there's no if here. This is also like a callback. So you would do, I don't remember quite what we were doing here. Oh, I don't think we even had that thing. Yeah, so yes. So here you can do mutations and you can run effects and stuff. But I did not introduce this thing. And the reason I did not introduce the on-exit thing is because this might be async. You want to grab some data and then you want to transition again and so on. So the problem is you can't asynchronously return a disposer. Like the disposer kind of needs to be returned immediately, which means this needs to run synchronously, which means you can't run it asynchronously, and so on. What would be like a better idea if an exit should be introduced is to have like some kind of on exit or something like that. So you would kind of like introduce hooks almost. Anyways, we don't have any exit logic now anyways, and it's not really part of the state machine core idea. So we're just removing that for now. So this is basically the API. And what happens here is that whatever you return from this callback is being returned here as well. So you would typically return a transition, or you would await it if you were doing something async here. Okay, so let's try to add this, and hopefully our type fetching service is working. So overmind React next. So let's see how our code looks. Yeah, also the matches API now supports multiple arguments. Okay, so we're getting some errors here, which is good. So this thing we're doing up here, on auth changed. Now we don't have to deal with this anymore because it automatically removes the error state when it moves out of, let's see. So error, this is always a string now. So when we move out of unauthenticated, it automatically removes that error state, which is nice. That should be good. And then we should be able to remove this. We'll have to test this later, but okay. And then we transition to authenticated, which means that we are going to return that instead. And now it's going to tell us that we need, let's see. Well, we should have some, oh yeah, it's old VS Code version. So we get it in between here. But anyways, it should require us to have a user, a profile, and profiles needs to be an empty object. So that's part of this thing. And then we want to remove this. Wow, my computer is getting, I think this is, let me close down Skype at least. It seems that it requires quite a bit of computing power, this eCam. I'm using eCam to do the stream. I think maybe I have to do some other setup, like something like running eCam on my MacBook. So I do the stream on my MacBook and then I kind of call into Skype or something. I don't know. I'm not that happy about all of this. Okay, anyway, so if I'm authenticated, it should transition to home. So we can just do that immediately. And this, I don't think that requires any state, or if it does, that's going to be interesting. Like that. Okay, so what does home require? What did we put on home? Oh yeah, so maybe we should fix this first, because now we set the base state. So what we want to do is we basically want to remove the base state from all of these, because that's going to be passed in here instead, base state. And now it's going to complain here because we want that to be this argument, and everything else here now should be and I guess this needs to be base state. Okay, that's cool. So now, as you can see, now we just have this base state, and then we have our transition state, which means that we're dealing with the transition state up here, and then we have like the base state down there. So this is like, this API is inspired from what we've been doing here. So it's kind of what we're seeing when we're doing this. We're seeing we're having this base state matches up. Yeah, let's finish this. Yeah, so yeah, that's what I meant to say. Like, this API change is based on what we've experienced building this app. So what we want to do here is return unauthenticated, and this requires an error, I believe. So error.message, and then we give it a callback. And here we just want to run an effect. Oh, did it require more stuff? Oh yeah, so this is interesting, because now we want to set the user and the profile to null, but we don't have to do that anymore because it's automatically removed, which is also nice. This auto removal of state seems to be like a really good thing, because it makes you more explicit about what state is available in different transition states. Cool. And then blah, blah, blah. Invalid env. And then we're doing a transition here. Yeah, I think I'm going to use this return approach. Unauthenticated. Okay, so this is interesting. On here we also transition to unauthenticated, but we don't have an error message, which means that we might not actually have an error there when we move to unauthenticated. So that means this is maybe there. And then we have, let's see, return. Oh, we can do this. And remove this and even this. This is kind of nice. I wonder what's happening here though. I'm a little bit scared about that. Maybe I've done something bad. So I didn't like test this before we started. So let's see how we're going to deal with this. Okay. And then we have here. So if it's not matching adding, we're going to add the description and valid. Does that require? Oh, I think we have some base state here as well. Let's remove this. Let's remove this thing and this thing and this thing. And then we'd rather add base state here. And like this was tricky to doing the typing here. God damn it, I spent a long time on that. It was super tricky to do. Maybe I can show it at some point. Okay, blah, 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 blah. And I think we can remove here now, adding. Okay, actions. And you might say, why do you pass an empty object there? And the reason is just for consistency, because you have 3 arguments. So like it would be weird to, like from a JavaScript perspective, it would be okay to kind of, and then do the callback there dynamically. But yeah, I don't know. Because yeah, I think the problem was I was able to figure out that if you had empty typing on the object, then you didn't require to pass the object. I figured that out, which was insanely tricky to do. But then this argument needs to be optional. And in the typing to make this work, I wasn't able to make the callback optional. Like, it's just crazy stuff. So I just made that consistent. Cool. Yeah, let's return all the... Like, maybe we don't have to... No, we should return, yeah. Anyways, so here we can change it around a little bit. We can say invalid or valid. So that's a little bit cleaner. And then, yeah, we can do the same here. Invalid or valid. We should be able to do that. And again, invalid or valid. And state auth matches that, or yeah, and now we're not going to do this thing up here. We're going to just do this. And we can remove this and that. And then we're going to return this thing. I guess we can do this. And then we're going to try. Oh my god, it's so slow. And now we, as you can see, this is async, and that's perfectly fine. We can make it async, and then we have adding state up here. Okay, maybe we should have this variable. Backlog item. Blah, 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 blah. And then we are, let's see, returning this thing. Yeah, this is interesting. We could, yeah, let's do that. Let's make the, I initially had that so that you could partially add the base state. Yeah, we should do that. Let's fix that right away. And the point is, you see, I'm actually dealing with, I'm resetting some base state here. And we should be able to do that through this object. And technically you can, it's just the typing that's not there. Which means that you can actually move this stuff up here. Active weekdays, like that. Current selection. Oh, I'm surprised why that doesn't give an error. Oh, oh shit. There's probably something wrong with that. Oh, god damn it. Let's see. There's probably something wrong with typing. So for some reason, it actually allows you to do... Oh, I think this is because you need TypeScript 4, actually. To make that typing work. Yeah, but anyways, we're going to add the partial thingy there. Yeah, I wonder why... Oh, maybe we didn't... Yeah, I find that a bit weird. Why does it... Oh, I think I know why. It's because when we... Yeah, it's because it doesn't have... So that object passed in there, we remove the state, which means it's like an empty object. So it allows any item. So this is not... Yeah. So we need to fix this. So maybe we need this thing after all. Yeah, I have to deal with that. Anyways, let's not concentrate on that now, but rather return. And then we had error.message. Yeah, again, we can now use, yeah, we're resetting the description to current description. And we don't need this thing. Okay, so this is certainly cleaning up some stuff, which is nice. Yeah, now you see I'm getting the error there because we actually have, yeah, a key on the state transition state. Cool. Let's see. Okay, so I'm thinking we should spend the last... Yeah, let's see if this stuff... Oh, I guess I'm not completely done yet. Let's just do this and... Oops. We don't need days there. Blah, 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 blah. Matches home. Add backlog item. Edit current week or plan next week. And the same here, add backlog item, edit current week, plan next week. Oh, my Mac is going insane. Yeah, and I think that might also make synchronize the microphone with the camera better. Yeah, I'm going to grab I'm doing another stream in a few minutes, like, yeah. And then I'm going to try that. Yeah. Okay, so let's see if our app, yeah, so there's definitely something wrong here. I've broken something. So state.auth suddenly doesn't have any matches. Where is this? Oh, this is in the... of undefined. Did I do anything else? This is from a component. Wow, that's weird. Oh, it's complete. It's undefined. That's weird. That's super weird. Oh. Oh, I think I know why. We are actually... How did we do this? How did I add auth? Oh, fudge. It's because of this. No, I didn't think about that. Oh, we can check that. Since I'm removing the keys of the state machine, Like if I do something namespaced, god damn it, then it removes the namespace. How should I deal with that? That wasn't good. Like I can check if the key is a state machine, and then it doesn't remove it. That's possible. But then that only works for keys that are actual state machines. So if you were to attach a namespace, that's not a state machine. But then again, it's kind of weird to... Yeah, it's kind of weird to add a namespace that's not a state machine. And maybe in general, it's kind of... Well, no, because you have the actions as well. Ooh, this is bad. This is bad. Well, what we could do is we could check if the key also has, like the key exists on actions as well. That would be a way to identify it. Ah, shit, this is... this isn't good. Well, what I could do instead is, yeah, I can track the keys that are being added. So, yeah. So for example, here, I'm adding user profile and profiles, which means this is something I know that when I go out of this state, these are the keys I'm going to remove, of course. Of course. Yeah, so I'll just track any keys being set, and then those are the keys I'm going to remove again. That makes perfect sense. Okay, maybe we can try to quickly take a look at that. Where is overmine? Overmine. Okay, so this is the code for the thingy. And what I'm doing here, let's see. Here we go. Here we delete everything that's not base keys, but that's just silly. We should rather just keep the current keys. So that means we'll need... Yeah, I think we need another symbol here. Current keys. Sorry. Symbol current keys. And then we're going to say this current keys equals object keys state, which is the initial state. So now this will contain like the state key or whatever other key we have there. And then we're going to say, when we want to delete stuff, we're just going to say this value. This is related to proxies, the reason we do that. And then we can just delete it. That's safe to do now. Yeah. I guess we really don't need to, like, we don't need to delete the state, but I don't think it matters because we're setting it. Yeah, let's try this. Okay, so this is cool. And of course, when we set the new state now, we need to say this value current keys is the object keys of the new state. Oh, not state, but new state. This object coming in here. Cool. That's the one thing we wanted to fix. So that should be good now. And then we want, what did we want to fix? There wasn't typing, wasn't it? Oh yeah. So if, yeah, we wanted the partial thing. So you can do, this is the crazy typing for this stuff. So new state, extend state, omit state. And we want partial of the base. Yes. Now the problem is if this state becomes an empty object, we don't want it to be, then we want it to be the partial of base only. So that's the interesting thing. So I found this, I don't know if I can find it again. Okay, but I'll look into that, because there is this crazy typing that is actually able to identify if the typing is becomes an empty object, which basically means you can add anything to that object in terms of typing. Yeah, so I'm going to bring that back, and then I'm going to do this check here. Basically what I'm going to do is, if this becomes never, like there it's this wrapper type that resolves to never if it's an empty object. So if it's never, I'm only going to have the partial base. But if not, it's going to be the actual object and partial base. I think that's going to work just fine. But I'll fix that for next time, and then we'll explore the API a little bit more, see if everything works still in our app. But I'm really happy about this, how the API looks now. It's super, it's really clean. I think the problem when we visited this the first time, it was just because we had this exit thing and we couldn't quite make that work. So by ignoring the exit hook, it seems that we can deal with this in a better way. Cool. Yeah, it just looks a lot smoother now. And we don't really need all this return stuff. It's basically only when we do something async inside the transition. That's when we want to either await it or return it. Yeah. Okay, cool. But this was a nice session. And we'll do another one tomorrow morning. And then, as I said, we're going to look more into, I'll fix that typing. Cool. Bye for now.